progress.
The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls.
We create
The smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I'm one of your hosts. My co-host Maria is joining me by Zoom. How are you, Maria?
I'm doing great, Liz. How are you?
Oh, I'm quite accomplished this morning. I have this tiny little cat that I adopted maybe 10 years ago, and they had gotten her from the streets, so she was very streetwise, and that instinct never goes away. So I've been trying to catch her for the last week to take her to the vet, and this morning I was victorious. So
There you go.
So we have tons of things to talk about. One thing I wanted to put into the hopper real quick is, I don't know if you've been reading the news about the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, but they are losing top management very, very quickly because of a cheating scandal. So one officer was fired yesterday, and there have been several resignations. So that's something to keep an eye on. And who are they going to replace these people with? That'll be interesting. But, if you have to cheat to pass the exam to go up in rank, I mean, what does that tell you?
Only the best people.
Only the best.
Only the best people.
So what's on top of your mind
It's
this morning?
certainly not a DEI situation.
No, it is not a DEI situation. You are absolutely correct. Yes. So it's interesting to me that the hypocrisy that's out there every single day. So what's top of your mind, Maria?
I don't really know. I'm all over the place, quite frankly. I've been, some of the national news things. I have been following what's been going on in Hillsborough, but I saw a post the other day from a woman whose son was killed by police, young son. Mm-hmm. And, and it's sort of cast a different light on the cheating scandal, if you will, when you realize that, people's lives are impacted by it,
Right.
That's serious. Other things that are on my mind. Can we talk about this ridiculous ballroom at the White House?
Yes. Let's welcome our third host, Donna.
Hey, Donna.
How are you, Donna?
Good. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and I got a little twist on that ballroom when Maria is done.
Hey, I'm good to go. Let's rock and roll.
Let's do it.
Okay. So white liberals at it again, right? As per usual, never take their foot off the brakes. Okay. And are brokenhearted and crying in their soup over the wrecking ball that Trump took to the East Wing. And I got a little chuckle out of it when I saw an evil glee. And you know why? Because a couple weeks ago, I went forest bathing, and there's a practice. I found it through my little yoga sanctuary. and they had a workshop called forest bathing. I said, I'll try it. Stay with me now. This all goes back to the West Wing. So, to the East Wing. So, because y'all know how I do. So I was sitting there in the forest, like a good middle class lady, trying to learn something. Like the same way we go after whole leaf teas, we feel like we've missed out on something, right? So I'm learning about Shinrin Roku, is what the Japanese call it, literally bathing in the atmosphere of the forest so that you don't die of the city. And the lady started telling us about the land that we were on. And she said, this land belonged to, and she named the tribe, and it was a complex word, so I can't recall. But she said, and they still come here and do rituals. However, this land is now in the hands, it is a park, it is a state park, and like a reserve. And so I thought, okay, so white lady having a thing for which she's charging on native land, which now belongs to white people in the Midwest, settlers. And she is giving a 10% of the fee of what she is charging to the indigenous folk. And I must have been glaring at her because she looked down. She looked down, and I was like, "Oh, you're doing that thing again where you're talking with your face, Donna." So I put a polite half smile on my face. I didn't want her to feel bad. I mean, we inherited this nonsense, So I was angry about the fact that we were able to name the Indians, call them, but they didn't have any more rights to that land than I did. And they were building a couple $1 million houses right across from the park, because in Minnesota, all the wealthy people live around the parks, live around the lakes. So roll forward to the West Wing, and the West Wing is being demolished by Donald Trump to build a ballroom. And I said in the comments to someone that I know well, this is a building. Okay,
right.
This is a building. This is a building on stolen land. The White House was built. The entire Washington D.C. was built by Black people who were probably barely paid,
Enslaved.
Yeah.
no, enslaved Black people on stolen land that they had massacred everybody and enslaved everybody else, and even brought some Irish people into the act, dragged them over here and enslaved them too, but gave them a white person's out contract, right? Well, we didn't have any. And so I thought, y'all are upset about the West Wing, but nobody's talking about land back. Nobody's talking about indigenous land rights.
Right.
Nobody's talking about reparations for the people who built this country. And y'all are crying over the West Wing. I want to say things you can't say on the radio, right? Where is the context? Let's frame this madness up. Let's give it a name. You guys are weirdos.
I will say this. I think that the thing that I find most disturbing about it, because, I live here in Palm Beach County, right? I know Mar-a-Lago, right? Mm-hmm. He did the same thing to Mar-a-Lago. He built a ballroom there. And the fact that he did not have to go through any permitting.
There you go.
Any kind of because it wouldn't have been able to happen here, right? No. Like nothing, right? Mm-hmm. What bothers me about it is settling with the fact that this son of a is never going to leave.
Never.
Thank you for censoring yourself. Yeah.
You had your finger on the dump button, though, didn't you?
I did. Uh-huh. I'm so smooth with it now, DT can't even tell when I'm pressing it.
He's never leaving. I don't know how many times and how much gold leaf he has to put in the Oval Office to let everybody know he has no intentions of leaving.
Mm-hmm. There you go. You don't build.
That is the thing that that's the thing that for me, that's the thing, right? Like, no regard, no. I mean, there's like a lot of symbolism and metaphor that comes with this monstrosity because the renderings make it look bigger than the actual White House itself, right?
It does.
So that's something to think about. The fact that the East Wing is where the First Lady's supposedly office is, it tells you that she has no intention of being there anyway, right?
Right.
She doesn't need that office. She doesn't need the secretaries. That none of that stuff needs to happen because is she even there?
Right.
Okay. So from a symbolism standpoint and from a metaphorical standpoint, like it gives me tightness in my chest.
I think I agree with that, Maria. I think, yeah, symbolically, not a fan. But if you're going to build a $250 million ballroom, one, you don't anticipate leaving. And two, where's the historical preservation committee that has to approve plans and stuff for modifying historical buildings? It's like there are no rules for Trump. Trump does whatever Trump wants. And Trump wants a $250 million ballroom with a bunker underneath, then he's going to go ahead and do it. Who's going to stop him? It's like, I'm going to harken back to the third Die Hard movie where they're blowing up the subways to distract the police. And this little kid comes riding by and he's got armfuls of candy. And Bruce Willis says, "Where are you going?" He goes, "Look around you. There's no cops. It's like Christmas." And that's exactly how it is. All these different little scandals roiling about, and Trump is just going to do whatever Trump wants, and nobody's going to stop him.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. So if you
want
that
Jay-Z and Beyonce song, "Who Gonna Stop Me," huh?
Yeah. If you want to give us a call, 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. So yeah, he's got a $4 billion plane from Qatar or however much it costs. I mean, he gets whatever he wants, and his party is certainly not going to stand up to him, and the Democrats certainly are not going to stand up to him. They're not even getting the Arizona congressperson sworn in yet. They have to bring a lawsuit. At least they're doing something to get there, but it's like, golly, it's very disconcerting.
They can't take a vote in Congress without swearing her in.
Right.
Which is why he's not taking a vote in Congress.
Exactly.
Literally.
Exactly. Let's see. We have one email that says every king deserves a ballroom. Thanks, Tom. Then another is the symbolism for me is gutting the people's house and silencing women's voices. Yeah, but it's not really the people's house. It's the presidents from past have gone and lived there, but it's not like you or I could go there and say, "Oh, okay, I'm here for the night. Let's give me the Lincoln bedroom." That doesn't happen. So it's to put the name "the People's House" on it is a bit much, I think.
A stretch.
Yeah, a
So
stretch.
can I say
You have to
something
pay
about-
for it though.
Can I say something about Donald Trump? So everybody is so aghast at Donald Trump. I think, I've been obsessed with Carl Jung, for about 2.5 months now. And I go to bed at night. I'm not studying properly. I'm listening to a lot of YouTube videos. I haven't gotten into the books part yet. Anyway, I think Donald Trump is a perfect reflection of the American psyche.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a perfect illustration of the way that American thinks. Now, everyone around the world thinks that Americans are insane.
And they're not wrong.
and they say things like, you can't talk to Americans, like you can't understand what they're saying. They don't see and hear what the rest of us see and hear. They don't see themselves as citizens of a dying empire. They think that they're going to pull out of this thing at the last minute. They don't believe that fascism can come to their homeland. They do not believe that what they're seeing in people like Charlie Kirk or people like Donald Trump or Stephen Miller or Peter Thiel or Elon Musk is actually fascism, the beginnings of a fascist state. The fact that our Congress won't stop them. The folks who are supposed to stand up for us and stand up for right and be the conscience of America, those people are saying nothing. Even, what's her name? Corinne, the former White House secretary.
Jean-Pierre. Need to have a conversation about that too.
She is peddling her book and is saying, why won't Democrats fight back? I don't think she's sincere.
It's dystopian to me.
She's smart enough to understand what this is, but she is peddling her book, says that she is no longer a Democrat because she couldn't watch anymore. Being a Democrat is a passive activity, as we've learned.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? Like it's galling to me for her to say she couldn't watch anymore. She was at the podium every day.
Every day.
And what was she? She was watching? I'm sorry, ma'am. I tried to listen to you every day, and it was literally cringeworthy. I have never seen, to me, she was the worst press secretary. She's probably as bad as Carolyn Levitt, right? She was bad. She was bad.
Yeah.
Corinne Jean-Pierre was bad as a press secretary. And then Carolyn Levitt said, hold my beer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The only one in the history of the White House that has been worse than Corinne Jean-Pierre had her job was Carolyn Levitt. Now, how this woman has the temerity to get on talk shows, peddling her book, talking about she couldn't watch anymore, ma'am, you were in a position to do a thing.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
How divorced from reality do you have to be to watch this man walk, even just to walk across the stage, away from the podium, and look terribly disoriented? And you didn't have the presence of mind to stop him in his tracks.
Right.
So this is a little bit of the dog is wagging tail. I mean, the tail is wagging the dog. These people have their own personal evil agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Donald Trump is a crazy person, but it's like, remember in Julius Caesar, was it where Julius Caesar was saying, like in the opening, that you don't want, he was complaining about one of the men close to him. And he was saying that you want them to be fat and lazy.
Oh, Cassius. He was talking about Cassius being lean, the lean and hungry look. Yeah.
Right. And he was worried that people like that were thinking and plotting and planning. He wanted people to be having Dionysian banquets and feasting on a rack of lamb and grapes and harlots, as they called them back then. And so they wanted them to be indulgent people that didn't think of state matters, because that was good for the leadership, the triumvirate, and he didn't have to worry about being murdered or watched or censured or removed from power. I think in this case, the lean and hungry men around Donald Trump, Peter Thiel is serious. This is a guy who says, I think he's such a fascinating character in this Marvel comic of a empirical downfall, right?
Yeah.
Peter Thiel says, they ask him, what should we do? He tells people all of these apocalyptical scenarios in these speeches, and then he says, what should we do? Thiel says, go to church. What? And so you're waiting on this. This man tells you all this stuff that's happening and that he's prognosticating. And then he says, people say, well, what should we do? They're anxious. They're having existential crises. Go to church.
Go to church.
Build a bunker, get a bug out bag.
Pray to God, because there's nothing but prayer at this point.
Right.
And no, and these people are not afraid. These people are not afraid. They're like, okay, we're white people and we know how to shoot guns and we'll be fine. I even had someone that I worked with recently say this to me. I was talking to him a little bit about racism in the South versus racism in the West, Midwest. He said, well, in the South, they want to stop you from going so high, but they will mix in with you and be with you as long as you're beneath them. Whereas in the Midwest, we don't care how high you go, just do it over there in a segregated area, right? And that was, I thought that was a forward thing
Interesting.
to say, but it was fair, and I wasn't offended by it until he said, "But if I have to put my money on who would win a race war, I would put it on the guys with all the guns out in the country because I'm from there." These people who are running your elections, these are the white boys who are consultants and are running these firms. These are the people that the candidates run to when they want to win, and then they're not winning and they're not ruling, because the mentality, the manifest destiny mentality coming from the consultant class is all contrived by white men. It is the opposite of, with the same goal, is the verbal opposite, not the actual opposite of what the far right is saying. But they all hope to get to the same destination, which is an America that is run by white men where everyone else knows their place. So when I analyze what's happening in this country right now, I don't see it as, oh my God, the far right is crazy and they're taking over, because you'll hear BIPOC people frequently say in this discussion in the town square that the apocalypse already came for us. We've already been stripped of our rights. We've already been stripped of our bodily autonomy. We've already been removed from our houses. You know, I come from a family that was considered wealthy in the 40s. And when they decided to build the I-95 through that land, they took our pecan orchards, and it's pecan, so don't come for me because you ain't never owned no orchards. Okay.
Is pecan. This we go back and forth on the pronunciation of pecan.
Rhymes with tan. They ain't even got no pecans in the bayou where Liz from.
Yeah, they do. Because I used to pick them when I was little, and we would go and sell them.
You ain't had no orchards, friend. This is going to be a quantity conversation. Okay. So, yeah, we grew them. And so they took our pecan orchards. And so by the time my dad went to college, we were back in being drafted into the military because of need and poverty. Now, so I will say that the backdrop of all of this in this country is white people's tone deafness and desire to remain in power at all costs, which literally makes no sense, because this is a country where if you want to have power, you can set yourself up with power. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have a club where you make sure that the person next to you is also in power. You can just do the thing you need to do for you. You can take what you need from the banquet. It doesn't have to be this whole clan thing. It works better in groups because cabals are historically shown to be able to wield power more completely than individuals. And I think that's what we're after. But I don't perceive this as the cataclysm that white liberals perceive, because home ownership, college educations are all within reach of these individuals. And so they don't understand or care to understand what's going on with the rest of the country. Thus, the No Kings movement.
All right. So we'll put a pin in that because we got some callers on hold. Let's talk to Remy in Orlando.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Love your show.
Thank you.
Love listening to y'all smart ladies every morning. And thank you so much for the effort you put and the energy to put these thoughts out on the air, because they're awesome. Listening, kind of wanted to say something different than the main thing I was going to call, and I'll try to make it as brief as possible. But you do say like power and control and who can get success, especially in politics in America. Let's not, I know you said there's definitely no like essential group you can go to get that, but let's not forget AIPAC and how they don't have to register as a foreign lobby. And let's take a close look at our politicians, how much money they're getting, and how we can measure that to their success.
Good point. Good point.
That being said, the one thing I wanted to say is let's all keep a close eye on the Republican Congressman Thomas Massie, because he's the one that put the discharge petition forth to get those Epstein files released 100%. And, of course, every single Republican has gone against him except only a handful. And can you believe it? Marjorie Taylor Greene was one of them. But nonetheless, he only needs that one vote, and it's that congresswoman that they're not swearing in. So
Exactly.
Trump and his donors are already putting millions into the forthcoming primaries to get Representative Thomas Massie out of there as soon as possible. So let's keep an eye on that, and thank y'all again so much for everything you do.
Thank you so much, Remy. Let's talk to Jack in Dover. Hi, Jack.
Good morning, ladies. I tuned in a little bit late, so I'm not exactly sure what the topic is.
We started out with the White House renovation with
The
Mike
Hillsborough
Trump
Sheriff's
and the
Department.
Hillsborough Sheriff's Department.
Oh, I don't know if you remember, but one of the first times I called in, I said they should change the name of the White House to the House of Elderly Whites.
I don't remember that.
I remember it.
It was a long time ago. But I agree with the previous caller that you girls, you handle the topics of conversation, you control the calls, and thank you for the work that you put in for to be a knowledgeable show, and you have the facts straight. So thank you. So that's pretty much it from me.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. And we have a few emails. David, Mr. White Pep. Hi, ladies. Seeing the East Wing destroyed by Trump's goons was very disappointing. I feel like Trump is taking a backhoe to the USA and to the Constitution. John Kelly was right. He only seeks to divide us, and then he just watches the chaos unfold. It has been blatantly obvious that he has no intention of leaving as of January 2021. That's another, let's see. Now here's from Karen. I think 7 million people believe he's a fascist. Try doing anything, Karen in Dunedin. Got another one that says, yep, he ain't leaving. White House is 50 square feet. I think it's more than that. All right. So anyway, all right. Thanks for your work. Thank you. 50,000 square feet. There we go. And the 90,000 square feet playroom.
That's why those scales is what, didn't Maria say that earlier?
Yeah. Massie for president. I love that he has the big balls needed to push back on Trump's chaos. Bubba. Thanks, Bubba. So yeah, all right. So we put a pin in the No Kings March. And so let's get back to that. Lots of people turned out for a few hours on Saturday to show their discontent with the current presidential regime. As has been pointed out on many websites and many news articles, the crowds were almost overwhelmingly white. And so then the white people start up. It's like, why don't the black people ever come to our events? And so it's because of the things that Donna said earlier. They've already lost all there is to lose. And
They did this. Let them clean it up. No, ma'am. I don't do no. Absolutely not.
And how
Absolutely not.
Let's delve into they did this. I mean, there is such a long historical arc where black women have tried to become parts of movements, and the white women were like, okay, you just sit down, and once we get it, then we'll no.
When they're done with their Daughters of the Confederacy Tea Party, then they'll come and clutch their pearls talking about, oh, well, why don't you join us? No, ma'am. We're not doing this. We're not doing this with you.
Not only that, I love a great many white people. Liz, how dare you be white? Remember that caller? Liz is white.
Oh, yeah. He goes, Liz is white?
God, you made it seem like it was oh my goodness, I gotta take Liz out back. Okay. I think that next week when we come back, we need to have a scholarly discussion about fascism and what it is Let's name it. Let's say how it begins. It always begins in crisis. People are uncertain. Then you get the charismatic leader who starts talking about a mythic past. And the country was like pure and promises people a return to that mythic past and freedom from the humiliation, oppression, wage slavery that they're enduring. Reminds them that they were once a mighty people and that we can reclaim the glory of our past. And then people begin to see other people that are not like them in their clan. You saw that the other day when a Latina made a video in front of an African market and invited ICE to come and raid it, and ICE did.
I know. It's like, what are you thinking?
And she was not white passing. She was very attractive, but not white passing. It was very clear that she, some ethnic twang was going on there with just visually. And she had no compunction to keep those thoughts to herself. We see that around the country where people are turning each other in. So the fear of the other and the alignment with ideas that fall short of fact. And forget how good it is when we're all just kind of trying to find our way to each other and getting along. And we need to go step by step through the process of fascism and what happens when the people don't stand up to it. We can talk about Nazi Germany, but there's so many other examples all the way back to the Greco-Roman period that we can look at to see the rise of strongmen from Mussolini in Italy. The word fascism actually comes from, we talked about this before, like binding sticks together, a bundle of sticks, because we are stronger. We indemnify each other's causes when we bind together. And when we say we're concerned about what's happening in Washington, but we don't demonstrate the same concern about the people who are living on the margins of our society who have not played and won in the capitalist imperative, then we are playing into the hands of, you see, guys, when you don't care about anyone but yourself, it's a flipped image. You know how like on Zoom, you can flip your image?
Yes.
Around? We are mirroring MAGA by only being concerned about ourselves. See that? I just flipped it around, right?
Yep.
We're mirroring MAGA. The dangers here is not that the right will keep going. It's that the left will not be able to see itself in that mirror as a reverse image. And that's how you get there. I saw this movie this weekend. I don't know why I did it on such a stressful project in the cold, tropical blood. Whether I like Florida or not, I have tropical blood for many reasons. One, being born in Florida. Two, being a person of African descent, right? And that movie, just go see it when you're not stressed out because it worked me in half. Manny was crying. I was crying. At one point, I put my face in my hands and simply wept.
What's the movie?
Theater chair. Truth and Treason.
Truth and Treason.
About a 17-year-old boy who started passing out these red leaflets during Nazi Germany, telling the truth about what Hitler was saying, because he had a radio and he was listening to BBC. He had a ham radio, he was listening to BBC. And then he brought his friends into it. And everybody knows, like, if you Google it, you're going to find it. They put him on trial and he would not back down.
Wow.
And they told him truth and treason. They told him, turn in your friends and we'll let you go. Here's what you're the baby of the party. The Nazi general that was looking for him. What do they call them? The Waffen. What do they call them?
Luftwaffe.
Luftwaffe.
Right.
Was it the Luftwaffe?
And he was,
Was it the Luftwaffe?
I don't know whatever this guy was. Like he was
or SS?
SS.
SS. He was SS because he had the SS uniform. And he said, listen, we know you're working for someone who is like an intellectual. So just tell us. It was literally the kid because he had access to banned books, the banned book archives. He worked in the city hall. So he was reading he was like a little Alexander Hamilton as he's portrayed in the play. Okay. He was a prodigious child. And when they took him to trial, he says, "This is how you get out of this. Okay, they're going to do worse, bad things to you. Just say you're, this kid, the 18-year-old was the one who drew you into it, and we'll let you go." And he gave the speech of a lifetime, right? And I was like, "Come on, boy, come through." And he is the image of giving up something. Until these people who are marching in these these no king movements and getting a Jimmy John's on the way home. Okay, y'all know about Jimmy John's. Okay, so I was at Jimmy John's on Saturday.
No, don't buy stuff from. Well, I can't make.
Listen, I was at the Jimmy John's, not in the Jimmy John's, but
okay.
They were blocked off the traffic, and people from the No Kings movement were pouring into Jimmy John's. And I said, "See that right there? That's how you know they're not serious. They're only thinking about themselves." Okay, so when I saw that, I realized that in order for us to really win this, the academic work that we have to do to understand our history and the emotional work that we have to do to be prepared for the level of sacrifice required of some of us, not all of us. Most of you listening to this show see this as entertainment, but we're trying to teach and share and inspire you, because what is before us is going to be the greatest task of your life. If you're an academic, this is going to be the greatest academic work and study of your life. We have to really understand this from a fundamental level. We have to understand the history. I'm currently right now doing the work. I am not a historian. I am just now beginning to understand that we're probably not getting out of this in our current state.
All right. You're listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. You can join the conversation by giving us a call at 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. And the queue is backed up, so we're going to take a call from DeAndre and Brandon. Hi, DeAndre.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, thank you. I just wanted to kind of like tag in there that, well, from last week, what I was saying before is that people in the African American community do not understand that during the civil rights era is when they were upping the source of migrant labor from Central and South America. And essentially, African American people don't not all, forgive me for saying that like that. I'm blaming myself, but I'm just saying I've had conversations with friends and family members who do not understand all the labor these people are doing, often under, well, I won't say often under the table, is taxed. And basically when they've encountered some, rough issues, work-related health issues, they can't run off the disability like a lot of Americans can. So that money is just sitting there, is used in some way, shape, or form. But if we're looking forward to that as Americans, some reprieve from, wage, issues of wage, wage-related issues, work-related issues, health issues, quality of life issues, then, we have to be more patient and observant of our, fellow human beings and what they're going through so we can remedy it. We need a solution because that's basically slavery, So
all right.
I wanted to put that out there. Sorry. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, DeAndre.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right. Sarah in Tampa. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, you guys.
Hi.
I just wanted to go back to this East Wing destruction.
Yeah.
I just recently became aware that the East Wing is where the First Ladies resided, where their offices were, where their artifacts are. And the article that I read, one comment was that they were going to save Rosalind Carter's desk, but maybe not her artifacts. And can you imagine what they're going to do with Hillary Clinton's artifacts and stuff and Michelle Obama's? So this is really, I don't know if he's consciously doing this. I believe somebody behind him knows what the ramifications are of this. But he is basically just erasing the East Wing, which was where the First Ladies had their offices and their staffs.
Well, what do women need offices for, Sarah?
Well, we said that. We know his first lady doesn't need it.
Right.
It's not even there.
Well,
Can't you read English?
And then I just wanted to ask you if you can explain, I don't eat out, and without putting WMNF at risk, I don't understand what you're talking about with Jimmy John's or whatever that is.
Okay. And let me issue the disclaimer real quick. The opinions on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices and not those of WMNF. All right. Now, go to Google and put Jimmy John's in quotes and controversy, and you'll know why.
Okay. I'll do that.
All right. Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sarah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You do too much. So can I say this about the West Wing?
East Wing.
The East. I keep saying the West Wing.
The West Wing was on TV.
Right, because of the show. It's in my head. Yeah. So listen, when the United States invaded Iraq during the Iraq War, all of the anthropology professors around the country said, hey, this is the dawn of the agrarian society and modern civilization, Tigris, Euphrates, River Valley, okay? And Mesopotamia, when you start messing with and bombing stuff in that region, right, the UNESCO and the World Heritage Foundation said, hey, buddy, you're messing with not just Iraqi stuff, which you've othered these people and now you're murdering them. You are destroying antiquities that are records of our origins as a civilized planet. I think those are strong. I think that's strong language, and I have questions because I majored in anthropology and stuff, but we're going to just put a pin in that and say, okay, all right, fine. The cuneiform tablets, these things were destroyed. A lot of things were stolen. Much of it was returned. I found that made my stomach hurt because that's going to have reverberation into our future, right? Because we won't have that scope into our past. When the revolution happened in China, the Ming Dynasty, the dynasty that existed the longest in China, which is an ancient 5,000-year-old civilization, much of the Ming antiquities were destroyed because they were considered to be symbols of the elite culture that oppressed the masses. Every time we change regimes, listen very carefully to what I'm saying, we lose things that reflect our heritage, history, and shared experience. This is the beginning. Mm-hmm. Okay? Feel the pain of seeing your heritage erased. The rest of us already know it.
Right.
Our names, our land, our culture, our food, all of our holy relics destroyed. Some of them are in the British Museum, and they will not even loan them back to the Nigerians. My brother-in-law, I always marry well. My ex-brother-in-law.
I don't.
Richard Mama, is the person who is assigned, my son's last name is Mama, to get the antiquities back from parts of the world to put on display in Africa during the African Arts Festival, right? And he can never get the British to share the things they've stolen. We're not gonna start talking about rubies and the beloved
crown
royal
jewels.
I got time, I got all day. So you guys are going to have to understand that this is what colonization, this is what theft of culture and heritage looks like when it visits you. And this little culture is only 250 years old. So just imagine when you're talking about the dawn of civilization and the rise of the agrarian society, which is the heritage of what we now exist as, being destroyed and nobody breathing a word, but to see the raggedy West Wing built on stolen land on the backs of slaves, destroyed, 250 years old. Everybody's crying. Nobody's crying for the Ming Dynasty. Nobody's crying for the Apache. Nobody's crying for the Irish. What about the Irish? We can talk about white people are in this too. This is not just limited to people of color. A lot of colonization has done a lot of stuff around the world. I know that's not comforting you, but please receive this in context.
Absolutely. All right, let's clean out the queue. Ray in Lakeland. Hi, Ray.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
I love your story voices. I always feel bad when more men call in than women because I enjoy hearing your opinion, and it helps me to get a different opinion, a different perspective. And I was thinking how I could possibly add to the conversation. So let's keep it about politics. I am upset that we fixate on Trump when we talk about the Epstein files, period.
I like that.
Okay. He's the reason we're not seeing him is the reason we're fixating on it.
But we still have a ton of names, and we're not exploring who those people are whose names we don't recognize because they're not in Hollywood.
Gotcha.
You feel me? Yeah. And with the West Wing, I have to agree with Donna. Or the East Wing. I have to agree with Donna that it's stolen land. There are some things that Trump did in tearing down parts of the government where I said, I don't really have a problem with that department being minimized because I never felt any good come of it. When they said he was reducing the CIA, I thought it was strange that, they started saying that Charlie Kirk's murder was a political assassination. It was a murder. The guy was going around the country talking his stuff, and that is inherently dangerous. I was in Utah. I lived in Utah. I shared the gospel with people in Utah. I didn't do it like he did it. And I felt privileged to make it out alive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's dangerous to tell people about Jesus and to tell people that maybe what they were told their whole lives wasn't exactly correct. It was intended to negotiate their conscience.
Now I have a question for you. I'm sorry to interrupt, but was Charlie Kirk telling people about Jesus? I want to get some clarification there.
He was using Jesus to justify his misogyny Christofascism. Yeah,
because Jesus didn't preach white nationalism. So I'm just wondering what the facts are here.
Right, that's a whole honeypot. I don't want to take up the show, but that is a whole honey. But I do really believe that he was a Christian at heart, and a lot of times, if you could get past the clickbait headline of what he was talking about, there was almost always something in there about how the Bible related.
We're not gonna raise Charlie Kirk on this.
I blocked him. Blocked him. Okay, I'm just but.
We're going to have to let you go, though, Ray, because I still have a backed up queue and folks been holding on.
Thank you, Ray.
All right. Bill in Tampa.
Hello, ladies.
Hi. Thank you for holding.
I know all about Jimmy John's. I would never, ever go to that place, okay? Isn't he the great white hunter?
Yes.
Yes.
The guy that Jimmy John's goes over and kills elephants or whatever in Africa.
Yeah, he big hunter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's the one reason why I would never, ever go. But I want to relay a real quick story about No Kings the other day.
Okay.
You know our former state attorney, Andrew Warren, remember him?
Yes.
Well, I saw Andrew walking by himself. I told my friend, I said, there's Andrew Warren. So we went up to him, we talked to him, and he was the nicest guy in the world. And I told him I voted for him twice. I said, you got railroaded out of your job. And he posed for a selfie with us, and we talked to him for like 5 minutes. And I just want to say, Andrew Warren is the type of politician that we need in office right now.
Well, he'd be there, except DeSantis keeps removing him. So
I know. I told him I voted for you 2 times, Mr. Warren, and you got railroaded out of your job. And he was a very nice man.
Okay, thank you.
all right, thanks so much, Bill.
Okay.
Bye-bye. All right, we got Chris in Clearwater. Chris, we're going to have 1 minute because we're running short of time.
Right. Well, referencing Donna, I just had to call in. We were saying that when you don't care about anyone but yourself, and we're mirroring MAGA by being concerned only about ourselves. And then referencing free speech last week, it wasn't about me sneaking in anything on the COVID vaccine issue. It was about the previous administration continuing the unconstitutional policy of silencing free speech by pressuring social media instead of to stop people from criticizing COVID shots and offering alternatives instead of governments.
Nobody. All right. No, Chris. No. We're talking about either tearing down the East Wing or we're talking about how the No Kings protest went. We're not talking anything. Nobody said anything about vaccines. No shots.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that if you're afraid of Trump trying to threaten free speech, you should also...
We're not talking about free speech today. We did that last week.
Okay, I won't talk about it.
Go to the next caller.
Well, okay, the next caller dropped off, so...
Let me say something about Andrew Warren.
No more phone calls, folks, because we're running short of time.
Andrew Warren, what was this guy's name? His name was... We'll call him Jean because I can't remember his entire name. He was a guy who was shot by police officers. They fired 125 rounds on or thereabout into his car. The cameras, and of course the cameras in the marginalized folks' neighborhoods, all of that material, nobody gathered that material from that. There was a very little, I see that Mary email, we're gonna get there. So let me just wrap this up. When Andrew Warren was asked, we challenged him to release the videos. When Andrew Warren was asked what he thought, was it okay for the officers to fire into that car like that and then say he had a gun? His response was to a local leader, he was a bad guy. That's extrajudicial killing. He has one job, and that's to uphold the law. And as far as I'm concerned, he didn't do that. He did what every white man, when called into accountability for the value of a Black life or the sanctity of life that happens to be Black, resorted back into the sovereign ability to judge who deserves to live and who deserves to die. And so when I'm telling you, when that blue MAGA kicks in, you're going to get the same thing. You're going to end up in the gulag along with the people that you've turned in and dragged. So I want to be very careful about that. And I want to say that. That was a human life that he judged to be unworthy of existing. And that's all I got to say about Andrew Warren. I thought he was at one point.
Yeah. So Mary sent us an email, and gosh, I hope I have time to read it. This is from Mary. It says, at this moment of crisis in our country, it is so disturbing to me that instead of taking a stand toward problem solving and listening and coming up with solutions and working for a coalition, your language is divisive, your perspective is destructive rather than constructive. And as I have said many times before, you and people who think like you are one of the reasons we are in the situation right now. We need to bring people together. Now you can put that down all you want and say that I'm ridiculous, but the truth is there is no other solution other than for people to come together to address this horrible, murderous, diabolical, tyrannical MAGA regime. It is past the time for the cannibalization of the left to stop destroying each other and to start building together to counter the destruction of our Constitution and our democracy. Your language matters. The way you talk about things matters. Oh, we gonna dive into this. We can't be live next week, but maybe we'll pre-record a response to what Mary says.
And yet she still keeps listening.
Right.
Without proffering a solution.
Well,
because she knows, and deep down, she knows there's something in that for her. She knows she has a wall up until she's pretending, and she really wants to break through, which is why she keeps coming back to the trough.
Right. And we can help with that. So
keep feeding, Mary.
Thank you for listening to Surly